Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, one day later than we usually do the show. It's 6 p.m., and that means it's time for AEW Weekly. And we are No Bones About Wrestling. I am your host, Asa, along with my permanent co-host, Kay Fabulous here.
Hey.
And we're going to take you through the week that was in All Elite Wrestling. We don't talk about the other companies. This is just about AEW because that's our favorite one.
Yeah.
We're going to do things a bit differently if you're a fan of the show. We're going to do segments out of order, so don't be afraid. Your favorite segments are still here, probably. They're just in a different order. So if we skip something, don't be scared. It's okay. It'll be there. And then we have just a new kind of discussion segment tonight as well to end the show. We're going to have a discussion about something that is one of the hottest topics in AEW. But let's go ahead and get started.
Isn't that kind of like a closer look, just not calling it that?
No.
Oh, okay.
It kind of is. It kind of is. But anyways, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the recaps, the TV recaps. AEW Dynamite was April 24th in Jacksonville. Starts with the Young Bucks and Okada, the Continental Champion. They get out of a car. Another car pulls up, and out comes Jack Perry. They walk toward the arena and are stopped by security. The Young Bucks say he's with us. And then in the arena, Orange Cassidy's music hits. He comes tumbling out of the entryway. He's had his ass kicked. And then out of the entryway comes Trent Beretta. He calls out Chuck Taylor to force him to decide whose side he is on. Taylor tells Trent, "I always thought you were a piece of shit." And Taylor helps Cassidy up. And we're going to talk about this more later. Up next, IWGP champion Jon Moxley cut the promo on Powerhouse Hobbs. That's the main event on Dynamite. And then we have an AEW World Title Eliminator match where World Champion Swerve Strickland takes on Ring of Honor World Television Champion Kyle Fletcher. So if Fletcher beats Strickland, Fletcher will earn a title shot later. He does not, though. But during the match, we see picture-in-picture, and the Elite enter Tony Khan's office. So who knows what they want. Swerve, this is a good match. Good back and forth. Swerve hits the house call eventually and pins Fletcher. Good match. 4 bones out of 5.
They went to picture-in-picture with the Young Bucks going into Tony's office?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
You don't like them taking the focus away from Swerve?
No.
I hear you.
It's his first defense, right?
It's not a defense, but it was his first match since he was champion. Yeah.
No, that's a big deal for Kyle Fletcher. That's the closest he's come to possibly being the AEW champion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that was the biggest match of Kyle Fletcher's American career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Up next, Thunder Rosa is with Renee. Deonna Purrazzo comes up. She ends up pushing Thunder Rosa, and they're about to fight when 2 randos come up and stop them. I don't know who these guys were, but they come up and stop them. We get an Ospreay versus Danielson highlight package, because why not? Even though we're several days after that match, it was the match of the year so far. So we get a little highlight package about it. And then we get Mina Shirakawa, accompanied by Mariah May, and she is taking on Anna Jay. And if you watch the show, you know I don't really care for Anna Jay. She's usually not very good. But here, she was able to hang with Mina Shirakawa. And Shirakawa ended up winning after a roll-up pin. And this was a good match. 4 bones out of 5, which is about the highest an Anna Jay match has ever gotten. After the match, Anna Jay attacks Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa. And then Toni Storm comes out for the save, the World Women's Champion. After that, Serena Deeb comes out and stands kind of at the entryway of the stage, and she says she is going to win the AEW Women's World Title. So things heating up in the main event scene of the women's division. Definitely. Speaking of the women's division, next we get Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statlander. They are out to celebrate new TBS champion Willow Nightingale. The first black lady to hold a belt in AEW.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh, wait, who was first?
Jake Cargill had the TBS championship for like ever.
The second black lady to
Yeah.
hold a belt in AEW. I was
Which
just
is
thinking
why
my
it was
memory.
so weird, because Willow wasn't the first black female champion, and they had this celebration for her. And Swerve, who was the first black world heavyweight champion, did not get a celebration.
Yeah.
No, no balloons, no confetti, no recognition. Shameful.
I think they just thought that would be a little too corny. That's not something Swerve would really do,
that's
you
true.
know?
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a balloon kind of guy.
Yeah. Willow comes down. She cuts a happy promo, and then Mercedes Moné enters. They start discussing who attacked Moné a couple weeks back in the dark room, if you'll remember. Willow asks Moné if she thinks Willow injured her on purpose when they were wrestling in Japan last year. Statlander grabs Moné. Moné turns and slaps Willow. She thinks Willow's the one who grabbed her by the arm.
Mm-hmm.
So we got quite a little dissension in the ranks around the TBS title as well, and we're going to talk about that in a bit also. Next, we see Jack Perry exiting Tony Khan's office. Then the rest of the Elite do. Alex Marvez is there, and he gets the scoop from Matthew Jackson that Tony Khan has agreed to meet with Jack Perry in the ring tonight. In this very ring. Next, we get a casino gauntlet match, and the winner gets a shot at the international title that Roderick Strong holds at Double or Nothing. So a pretty good prize there. It has Jay White, 1/3 of the Unified Trios champions, Dante Martin, Penta El Cero Miedo, Kyle O'Reilly, Will Ospreay, Lance Archer, Commander, and Jay Lethal. And the rules of this were not very clear at first. Essentially, they just kept sending men out, and whoever got the first pinfall or submission was going to be declared the winner. So it could have just been 8 guys, or it could have gotten up to 20 guys, I guess.
21.
21 guys.
That's how many they said where I know. That's why it's a casino. Battle Royal. Or Battle Gauntlet, whatever they called it. What do they call it?
Casino Gauntlet match.
Gauntlet match. Yeah.
So, anyway, though, Ospreay was the winner. He hit the Hidden Blade and pinned Commander. And this was a very good match. Action-packed, and the sequences all came off pretty well, which is surprising in one of these kind of multi-man matches. You sometimes get quite a bit of stalling, and spots look a little more forced than they usually do in a singles match. Not the case here. This was a good match. 4.5 bones out of 5. And so we get Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing.
Can I add one thing about this match?
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job of making Lance Archer look like a beast.
Yeah, right.
It was the best use of him that we've seen since I've seen him in AEW. Like, by far. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's exactly how they should present him. I agree. Next up, we have the FTW champion, the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho. And he comes out and he gives a promo about the lessons that Hook should have learned from him. He renames the FTW title, which used to stand for Fuck the World, He renames it the For the World title. Big Bill comes out and says that he needs the learning tree. And Jericho says he'll be watching Big Bill. He'll keep an eye on him. So we'll see what develops there. And we're going to talk about that a little more later.
Do you think Jericho's going to refer to his, like, underlings as his saplings?
Possibly. Who knows? I wouldn't have bet a month ago that he was going to be calling himself the Learning Tree. So I don't know.
Come sit beneath me, my little saplings. Let me tell you a tale.
He could call them anything at this point. Up next, Will Ospreay is being interviewed by Renee. Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher walk up. And Callis says that Ospreay should have used the Tiger Driver 91 in the Casino Battle Royal. Because during the match, Ospreay went to put it on, and then he forgot that he said he wasn't going to use it anymore. And so he stopped himself and did a different move. But Don Callis says he should have used it. Ospreay said he didn't want to do it. Callis leaves, saying that Will Hobbs is going to win the IWGP title belt tonight, and Ospreay will win the international title at Double or Nothing.
Didn't he also yell at Fletcher here?
Who, Callis?
Callis, yeah. For him not listening to one of the moves he called during his match with Swerve. Because then after Callis walked away, Kyle and Ospreay kind of looked at each other like, you know?
He did, yep. Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe they are going to leave Callis family together.
Yeah, a little dissension in the ranks there. And right, maybe we'll reform United Empire. And who was
Mark Davis has to be coming back really soon.
Mark Davis. That's just what I was about to ask. Is what was his name? The other member of what were they called? Their tag team.
Oh,
Davis and Fletcher.
Aussie Open?
I think they were Aussie Open. Yeah. So yeah, that would be awesome if they reform United Empire in AEW. I would be all for that.
But as a face faction.
Yeah. Up next, we have the IWGP World Title match. I believe the first time we've had one of those on an AEW program. I think it is really. You don't think
in my
so?
Jack Perry notes, we talk about a match that he had for the title. When I was reading for my Jack Perry notes, for that title at an AEW show.
Really?
I'm fairly certain.
Okay, well, let's move forward. Never mind then. Jon Moxley punches Hobbs about 50 times in the corner. You know, he goes up for the old 10 punch in the corner spot, but does 50 to Hobbs. I counted them, and I think it was about 48 punches. Yes.
It was a Forbidden Door, and it was against Sonata for the IWGP World title.
Okay, so maybe the first TV show IWGP title match for AEW. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where was I?
Sorry.
Oh, Moxley punches the shit out of Hobbs, hits the paradigm shift, and then gets the rear choke set in. Hobbs passes out. Moxley wins by knockout, keeps the IWGP World title. Hobbs injured his knee pretty badly during this match. More on that later. And this match, it was good. It was pretty good. 3.5 bones out of 5.
Did you notice the injury?
Yeah.
During the match?
Yeah.
Did it happen mid-match?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Or at least I don't remember.
You don't remember? I think you noticed. You just don't remember noticing. Renee is with Katsuyori Shibata, and through his smartphone translation app, he challenges Jericho next week for the FTW title.
He challenges the learning tree.
That's not what it sounds like. It's a.
You do it.
No, it's a lady. I can't do a lady's voice. It's a lady's voice. It's like an American lady's voice.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which is so.
It'd be so much cooler if it was a robot voice.
What?
Yeah, I like robots.
Yeah, I guess that would be cooler. I would be down with that.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just kind of off-putting. It's a woman's voice, an American woman's voice.
It's just odd. And like he
It's
pretends
odd.
to type, but he'll like touch his phone like 4 times and then he'll play like 7 sentences.
Yeah.
It's a little silly.
Yeah. It's a lot silly, I think.
I like the idea behind it, but just not the execution.
Right, yeah. Tony Schiavone calls out Jack Perry. Perry calls out Tony Khan. Tony Khan comes, he shakes Perry's hand, and Jack Perry punches Tony Khan in the stomach.
With the mic in his hand, so it made a fun sound.
Yeah. The Elite come out. They help Khan up, and then they hit him with a spike pile driver. Whatever they're calling that move nowadays. It
Not
used
the
to be the
Meltzer?
Meltzer driver. They
Yeah.
changed the name, though. I'm not sure what it's called now. But yeah, they hit Tony Khan with a spike pile driver. Jack Perry poses with the Elite on the entry ramp. Wrestlers pour out of the back to help Tony Khan. Even his father, Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, he came. The guy with the handlebar mustache.
And the endless bags of money.
And the endless bags of money. Yeah, he's a rich motherfucker. The one who gave Tony Khan the money to start AEW. Yeah, he made his first on-screen appearance to show his worry about his son.
That makes him like one of my favorite people.
What's that?
Tony Khan's dad for giving him the money to start AEW.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I hope he's not like a terrible person or something.
Definitely,
No,
yeah.
I've said he's one of my favorite people, but I love that he gave his son money to do this.
Yeah. Well, if he's a billionaire, odds are he's a terrible person. Yeah, he's a bad person. So, nonetheless, at least some of his money has done something great. And so that is how Dynamite ends. Pretty unprecedented. You know, I don't believe Tony Khan has been physically attacked in that way before on camera. So we'll see where that goes. And we're going to talk about that a little later on also.
That's his first bump. I don't even think he's taken been knocked down.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Pretty exciting.
Next, we had Collision, and it was April 27th, Jacksonville, Florida. We get highlights of Swerve winning the world title from Samoa Joe. And then Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana. He comes out. He disses CM Punk during his promo, saying the real best in the world is whoever holds this belt, the AEW World Championship. I tend to agree with Swerve.
But CM Punk held that championship.
So he was the best in the world for like 2 weeks.
Wasn't one of his reigns like less than like 5 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. He couldn't stay healthy. They gave him the world title twice.
Yeah.
He couldn't stay healthy.
No, he got injured like immediately after the match or during the match.
Yeah.
The first time.
Swerve issues an open challenge for the world title, and Claudio Castagnoli of the BCC comes out to answer it. We get a highlight package about the Elite attacking Tony Khan. Then we get an AEW Unified World Trios title match. And the champions, when they introduced them, they referred to them as the Bang Bang Gang, not Bullet Club Gold.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
So I'm not sure if now Jay White and the Guns are the Bang Bang Gang. That's the name of their 3-person team. And then Juice Robinson is separate from that.
Does that mean that they can't do like the New Day thing where they switch out who's holding the belts?
Well, not necessarily. Maybe they'll call him part of the Bang Bang Gang. I don't know. It was just interesting that they announced them that way instead of calling them Bullet Club Gold.
Because our Bullet Club Gold merch is so cool.
Yeah, I agree. So they come out and they're defending against Top Flight and Action Andretti, one of my favorite trios teams. And it's a good match. Top Flight and Action Andretti flying all over the place, like they do. A lot of good offense, and of course Jay White and the Guns looked solid. It was a good match. Everybody worked well together. 4 bones out of 5. Solid match.
Did you say your match of the night for Dynamite?
Oh, I did not. The match of the night for Dynamite was a casino gauntlet match that Ospreay won. Yeah, it was action packed, very fun match. Yeah. After the trios title match, we get highlights of the tag team title ladder match tournament final from Dynasty, and then we get a House of Black promo, and they've got their creepy red lighting, and they look scary. They look very formidable, and so they announced that one of them will face Adam Copeland for the TNT title May 1st, so tomorrow night. As we speak right now, tomorrow night on Dynamite
In Winnipeg.
Yeah. One of them will get TNT title shot, but they don't say which one. We're going to talk about this a little more later. Up next, we get a surprise return, not publicized at all, anywhere I saw, at least. Ray Phoenix returns from his injury. And he has a great opponent, the Beast Mortos, which translates, I think, to the dead beast. I'm not sure if Mortos is Portuguese or Spanish.
He's from Mexico, so it's probably Spanish. Because they don't speak Portuguese in Mexico as a national language.
Did they say he's from Mexico?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So it translates to the dead beast, I think. But it's the guy who used to be Black Taurus in AAA.
Who's awesome.
And he's awesome, yeah. And AEW signed him, but there was some deal where he couldn't use the name Black Taurus.
Well, AAA owns the copyright to it.
Okay. So that's why. And so he had to come up with another name. So now he's the Beast Mortos. And he's been in Ring of Honor for a little bit, and this is his first AEW match, I believe, yeah.
I don't know if he's been in it as that. I know he was Black Taurus in Ring of Honor for a little
the
bit.
first AEW match as the Beast Mortos, yeah. So anyway, very good Lucha Libre style match. That's my favorite type of wrestling. It's then they worked great together. It was a good, monster versus little guy type of match, and they nailed it. They nailed everything. Just an excellent match. 4.5 bones out of 5. And this was the match of the night, and this was the AEW match of the week. Ray Phoenix getting a win over the Beast Mortos.
It's so good to see him back.
Beat him with a roll-up pin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love seeing Ray Phoenix back.
I'm glad he's healthy.
One of my favorite, and I think one of the best wrestlers in the world. Next, we get Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy highlights of that whole deal happening. And then we get an Orange Cassidy interview. And the big highlight is I didn't write down any context for this. What I wrote down is Orange Cassidy said, "I'm afraid of what they're going to do together." Is he talking about Chuck Taylor?
Yeah.
If he teams up with Trent?
No, I think, isn't this when, I don't know what you wrote down, but isn't this when Chuck Taylor tells Orange and Chris that he doesn't want anyone to come and interfere at his match on Rampage?
Right. Yeah,
so
he's saying
match. Like he's afraid that what Trent and Chuck are going to do against each other.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that's the context. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Up next, we get another surprise return. Roosh is back. I like him. And he's fighting Martin Stone.
And he comes out to his own entrance, not to LFI's entrance.
Roosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is surprising.
Yeah, well, I think LFI is kaput. Yeah. Because Jose, the assistant, got fired. Mm-hmm.
Preston Vance and Dralistico have been gone for forever.
Yeah. And now Roosh is back, and he's not, right, no LFI music, and no LFI members accompanied him. So it looks like LFI is no more.
And there was no mention of it. Like they
No
didn't,
mention,
the
yeah.
announcers didn't say anything.
No. Not that I heard, anyway. But yeah, so I think LFI is dead.
Fun while it lasted.
Was it? I don't know. They didn't really do anything of note.
They had those really cool promos before they showed up. That was the coolest part of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess that's bad. If the coolest part of you is before you actually get there, and then once you get there, things just go downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good sign.
Roosh pinned Martin Stone after his get the horns move. Mess with the bull and get the horns, where he charges in the corner and does kind of a missile drop kick. Roosh attacks Stone after the match even. So it looks like Roosh is going to be a heel. Good. As he usually is. He should be a heel.
Well, with LFI, he was a face, and he was terrible at it.
Yeah.
Because, just the way he wrestles is a heel style, and so it didn't make any sense. So it's good that he's back. He
looks like a heel.
I guess kind of. But, it's more his in-ring actions that make him seem heelish.
Next, we get highlights from the women's division. As I said, it's been really heating up lately. And then we get a Serena Deeb interview. Up next, a non-title match. Women's World Champion Toni Storm taking on Anna Jay. And this, surprisingly, was a good match. And I don't say that, because of Toni Storm. Again, I say that because of Anna Jay, who, for my money, is probably the least skilled woman in the division. She's not good at selling. Her moves don't look realistic. She always is thinking. She always looks like she's having to think about what the next spot is. Like, none of it comes across as authentic. She's just not good. But this match was good. Toni Storm ended the match with her hip attack, and then the Storm Zero pile driver pinned Anna Jay. I gave this one 4 bones out of 5. So Anna Jay in 2 4-bone matches this week, both of them losses. But she was okay. She was better than usual.
That's a phrase I never thought I'd hear you say.
She was better than usual this week. Orange Cassidy brings Chuck Taylor a dog, then takes it back. Taylor tells Cassidy he doesn't want them helping him in the parking lot fight against Trent Beretta on Rampage. Next, we get the...
Wait a minute. What was the point of that dog?
I don't know.
Do you think someone just had a cute dog backstage and they're like, hey, we should put this on TV?
I don't know.
It had no context. It made no sense.
Grizzled Young Veterans take on the Acclaimed. And this was a good tag match. Max Caster hit the mic drop on James Drake for the pin and the win. The Acclaimed get the win. Good match. 4 bones out of 5. This was a good episode of Collision. As Dynamite, a good episode as well. Very, very good episodes of both shows, I thought, this week. Next, we got a recap of Shane Taylor and his battle, Shane Taylor Promotions, and their battle against Hook and Katsuyori Shibata. And then we get a Katsuyori Shibata promo that he does with his electronic translator. Daniel Garcia is there, and he asks Shibata if he wants Garcia to watch his back against STP, Shane Taylor Promotions, on Rampage. And Shibata says yes, so we have a tag match coming up on Rampage.
Because it was going to be a handicap match.
Right.
Yeah.
And then our main event on Collision, AEW World Title match. Swerve Strickland defends against Claudio Castagnoli. Very good match. Very good match. Could have been a pay-per-view match even, both men really pulled out the bag, pulled everything out of their bag, I should say, and used it. At no point was I convinced Castagnoli might win the belt, but it was an excellent match. I mean, it was a great call for Swerve's first title defense. They really went out there and nailed it. So Swerve hit a house call on Castagnoli for the pin and the win. 4.5 bones out of 5. This Swerve and Castagnoli, they shake hands after the match, and that is how Collision ends. And then this week they did Rampage as the third hour right after Collision. I'm going to go over it real quick. We don't usually talk about Rampage because the big angles a lot of times don't go through Rampage.
But they did this week.
Yeah. First match, Trent Beretta beat Chuck Taylor by knockout to a triangle chokehold in the parking lot fight. And this would go pretty brutal. And they're slamming each other on car hoods, through car windshields. This is real glass, that type of thing. Trent was bleeding profusely. I enjoyed it.
Chuck was also bleeding profusely.
Yeah. This was Chuck's first match back in months.
Mm-hmm. Which is why it had to be a parking lot brawl, because he's not cleared to be in the ring.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what they said, which is so fun. It's off the books.
It was a very good brawl.
It was.
4 bones out of 5 for this one.
Can I tell you my one disappointment?
What?
No Sue.
Yeah.
I wanted Sue to show up and be on Chuck's side.
She will at some point.
Yeah.
Just not this early in the feud. No. After the match, Trent Beretta attacked Chuck Taylor's injured leg with a wrench. Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander came to Chuck Taylor's aid afterwards. So I don't know if Cassidy, Statlander, and Chuck Taylor are going to go on and keep calling themselves the best friends. I don't know.
Well, the weird thing is, like, when Trent Beretta came out this week, out to the ring to talk or whatever, they played the Best Friends music when he came out.
Mm-hmm.
Which just felt so weird.
Yeah.
He was so angry.
Next, we got Kyle O'Reilly doing a promo about how AEW is coming to his hometown. It's one of the Canadian cities. I forget which. It's one of the cities on their Canadian tour they're about to do.
Saskatchewan.
You're just guessing.
I'm guessing.
Then we get Thunder Rosa versus Diana Purrazzo. Good women's match. Thunder Rosa rolled up Purrazzo out of a Fujiwara armbar. There were some good holds, good technical wrestling in this match, good brawling, good high-flying stuff. They really went through a number of styles in this match. 4 bones out of 5. Thunder Rosa gets the win. Good women's match.
I expected that to be on Double or Nothing. I can't believe it was on a Rampage of all things.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Rosa's going to get the challenge for the world title again soon. I don't know.
Well, that's what they were saying. I mean, they weren't saying, like, she's guaranteed that, but that's what they said at the beginning of the match. Like, this is basically to see who's next in line for, which, I mean, okay. But then Serena Deeb's also injecting herself into that, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the women's division heating up, and all the women's matches this week were good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good. Usually we have, like, a stinker in there somewhere,
Or a squash match.
Like an Anna Jay match or something.
Yeah, but none of them were squashes.
Yeah. Good matches. Purrazzo attacks Thunder Rosa as she leaves the ring. So this is not over between Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa.
So is Purrazzo a heel?
It seems like it to me.
Because wasn't she a face before then?
It seems like she's a heel.
Now, or she's always been a heel and I just didn't notice? Oh, okay.
Well, it's tough to say. I think she was a face when she fought Toni Storm.
Yeah.
But I think now she's a heel.
Okay. Because Thunder Rosa is too awesome to be a
Yeah. We get highlights of Will Ospreay winning the Casino Battle Royal. And then the Undisputed Kingdom and Roderick Strong talk shit to Will Ospreay about the Strong versus Ospreay match coming up at Double or Nothing. Then we get Big Bill versus Trevor Blackwell. And during the match, Chris Jericho, the FTW champion, the Learning Tree, he's shown in the back watching on a monitor. Big Bill wins the match with a choke slam for the pin, and all throughout the match, he's talking to Chris Jericho, saying, "Are you watching?" and all this type of thing.
Can I add to that?
Well, I wasn't done.
Okay, go ahead.
After the match, Jericho is shown again clapping for Big Bill's victory. Yes, what would you like to add?
So part of the reason Big Bill was talking to the camera was because he had defeated whatever this dude's name is. We'll just call him the Jobber.
Trevor Blackwell.
Trevor Blackwell, thank you.
He has a name.
I couldn't remember it. I wrote down Blackwell, but I couldn't remember what the rest of it was. Anyway, he had him down, and after the 1 count, he physically lifted him up, and he did that several times, where he'd have him pinned and then be like, "Oh, keep watching," and then I liked that. I thought that was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Big Bill. I'm a big fan of his. I like, I think he's funny. I think he's very good in the ring for as big as he is. He's got a great look. And he's pretty decent on the mic, I've seen. I think he's got it. And I think they just need to find a way to present it better than they have been.
Yeah.
I don't know if this Learning Tree thing is the way to do it. But stranger things have worked, so we will see. At least Big Bill will be on television, and that's cool because I'm a fan of his for sure. Next, we get the main event of Rampage. Katsuyori Shibata and Daniel Garcia taking on Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. They're accompanied by Anthony Ogogo. Shibata hit the PK on Moriarty to get the pin. And, of course, as always, Taylor and Moriarty take the loss. This was a pretty good tag team match. Matches can only be so good with Shane Taylor in them. He doesn't do a lot. He can't sell a lot. You can't do a lot of moves to him. He's just very limited and limiting in the ring. And I'm a fan of big guys. But this is not a big guy that I'm a fan of. So this match got 3.5 bones out of 5. Everyone else was pretty decent except Shane Taylor, who I continue to question why he's on television. And real quick, let me run down what we're seeing on Dynamite tomorrow, May 1st in Winnipeg. Kenny Omega returns, not to wrestle. We find out who Swerve Strickland's challenger will be for the world title at Double or Nothing. We see an FTW title match, Chris Jericho defending against Katsuyori Shibata. We get Mariah May versus Serena Deeb. I think that's going to be awesome. And we have a TNT title match, Adam Copeland versus a member of the House of Black. So it sounds like a pretty good show. Pretty good show. So up next, we have a segment where we take things that happen on television, take some things that happen on television this week, and we ask, where's this going? So first up, Trent Beretta versus Chuck Taylor feud. We saw it really get amplified this week on Rampage with the bloody parking lot brawl. So where's this going?
I think Trent Beretta is joining the Callis family.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear that's where it's going.
So who's going to come out as the winner of the feud?
The Callis family are the best friends?
I mean, Trent or Chuck Taylor. Who's going to come out the winner of that feud?
Well, Chuck's going to win because he'll have Chris Statlander, Orange Cassidy, and Sue to be his friends, and Trent Beretta is going to be stuck talking to Don Callis. So Chuck's the real winner, regardless of who wins in the ring.
Let's see. All right.
What do you think?
That's a way to look at it.
Yeah.
I think Trent has to win the feud.
I think it is too.
And I think it'll propel him into, singles career in AEW with the Callis family. And it looks like the Callis family is about to lose some members, so they need to have some coming in. And, of course, they lost one temporarily with Powerhouse Hobbs, and I'll talk about that later.
I think it's about time that Trent go by himself.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, he's very good. He's
very talented.
Way better than Chuck Taylor.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but he is. We see that in tag teams a lot of times. And, it'll be good for Trent to be on his own for sure. So where's this going? The Elite taking out Tony Khan. So we saw, if you didn't hear, during the NFL draft, the Khan family, they own the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're an NFL team. And during the draft, Tony Khan was in the war room, as they call them, during the draft. And he was in a neck brace, Andy Kaufman style, with his head just sticking out and can't turn or anything, like he's in a Batman suit. Can't turn his neck. And he's selling the whole thing. And ESPN, asks him what's going on. And so he gets to talk about AEW on the air, gets to promote AEW. So it's a pretty smart tactic there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they said that Tony Khan now can't travel. So he's not making the trip to Canada. So where's this going?
Will this be the first ever AEW show where he's not in Gorilla?
No, he's going to be running the show. He's not going to be on television.
Oh?
Yeah.
Oh, he'll be there. Okay.
Yeah, he'll be there. Yes.
Believed it.
No, he'll be there.
I thought maybe he had to stay because I don't know how long the draft is, but it seems like it takes forever. So I thought maybe it was still happening.
It does take forever. I think it's over now. I don't know.
Okay.
NFL draft, I think it's like 4 days. They do it over 4 days.
I mean, I don't know where this is going. I get that it's like putting Perry over as a heel, and it's helping unify him as part of the Elite now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get it.
You don't get it?
I don't get it. I don't mind it, but
It's just
where does it go from here? Like, they've attacked their boss.
Yeah, the Elite running roughshod. And so as of right now, the boss won't be there.
Mm-hmm.
So who's in charge? I guess it's the executive vice presidents. So now at least on this trip to Canada, the EVPs are I think they're gonna be the ones in charge of the show. So we might get to see them more involved in things, even booking matches, things like that, a bit more.
Isn't Kenny an EVP also?
He is, right.
And he'll be there.
And he'll be at the show tomorrow. I'm not sure about any others.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's well enough to travel or anything like that. I don't know.
Because he's from Winnipeg.
Yeah, he's from Winnipeg, and that's where he's been, recovering from diverticulitis. And he still hasn't had his surgery, I don't think.
Yeah.
It might be some Canadian healthcare thing. You don't want to get sick if you're Canadian. They put you on a list. They put you on a long-ass list. You got to wait for months.
Are you just making this up?
No. There's a list. You got to look it up.
I think that's what people who are against universal healthcare say about universal healthcare, but they're wrong.
You don't want to get sick in Canada.
I would love to get sick in Canada.
You don't want to get sick in Canada. Like, seriously sick? There's a waiting list. There's a long waiting list you get put on. Yeah.
David Sedaris broke his arm in France, had to pay like $12 for the cast, the medication, the x-rays, everything. $12 done.
No, Canada ain't France.
Universal healthcare for the win.
Anyways, So yeah, so the Elite will be in charge, I think, and kind
Mhm.
of taking things over NWO style.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we'll see is some very Elite influenced episodes of television. I think
So
that's where we're going.
what do you think they're gonna do? Like
Like I said, just book matches, book people they don't like, maybe gimmick matches, book people they don't like against tougher opponents,
Mhm.
leave people they don't like off of the show altogether, and then they get pissed off, and that kind of stuff,
They should leave people at the airport.
Maybe come out
stranded.
during a match and just stop it, be like, all right, guys, that's enough. It's been 10 minutes. We got to get things rolling here,
That would be awful.
Something
That'd
like
be
that,
so good, yeah.
Stuff like that, I think that's what we'll see.
Mhm.
So I hope so. I think it'll make the television pretty interesting for a little bit.
Mhm.
So some people have talked about it opening up the possibility of an on-screen character to replace Tony Khan. I'm not in favor of this.
What do you mean?
An on-screen character who runs things, like a commissioner or something like that.
Oh.
No, yeah, I'm not for that. I don't like that. All that leads to is more talking on the show, and I don't think we need that in AEW.
I think if anything, it leads the way for Tony Khan to be a character in his own show, instead of just being like the dude who makes announcements and runs things. Like, not like who am I thinking of? Eric Bischoff kind of a thing, but yeah, where he has like an on-screen presence besides robotically reading big announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like he did a pretty good job delivering and acting in the scene where he got attacked.
Thought so.
Yeah, he didn't seem robotic.
Well, he didn't sell it. He didn't really sell it at all. He just went flat on the ground. When he got punched in the stomach, he didn't like double over or anything. He
Yeah,
just
he
went
did.
flat on the mat.
No, he grabbed his stomach and then
He
fell.
did, and then went flat on the mat. He wasn't like writhing around or being like, oh my God.
Mhm.
Nothing. Just flat on the mat. I'm okay.
Do you think he had something protecting his stomach? Because that's why I thought maybe he wasn't moving.
I don't know.
Because when he was walking to the ring, it looked kind of awkward, the front of his shirt. Like there was like something flat and hard over his abs.
Really?
That's what I saw it very briefly, but that's what I thought.
Yeah, it would be wise. I mean, hopefully. I mean, he's not made to take bumps. He's a skinny guy. He's probably pretty frail, I bet. But yeah, so we'll see where this goes. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Up next, where's this going? Anna Jay attacking Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa, setting herself up as a heel, maybe as even an effective heel in AEW. Where's this going, Kay?
Somewhere confusing.
Yeah.
Because isn't Mariah May a heel?
Correct.
So we got heel attacking heel.
But the fans cheer for her, though. Mariah May. About, maybe like 60-40, 70-30, something like that.
But this was at Daly's place, which they kept emphasizing was like Anna Jay's hometown, even though she's really from Georgia, because it's nearby. Like they said that on both shows. So I feel like they were trying to sell her as a face, but then she attacked them after the match. It also doesn't make sense because she's attacking two people, but she has no friends.
Right.
So it seems unwise. Maybe there's going to be a handicap match where she just gets the crap beaten out of her.
Or maybe we'll see one of these women become Anna Jay's friend. Not one of the ones she attacked, but someone else in the division.
Maybe we'll have a return.
Maybe
we're
we'll have a return.
Britt Baker and we're missing Jamie Hayter.
Yep. Maybe. Could be one of them. Could maybe have Serena Deeb take her under her wing and train her to be a better wrestler.
Please do it.
I think that could be interesting.
Yeah.
It could be intriguing. Because Serena Deeb is always talking about how good she is, and she is.
She should
and talking about how she has a dojo and all this shit. So it's like, all right, train somebody. Let's see it.
She should invite Anna Jay to come sit under the female learning tree.
Nothing about learning tree.
Come be
no.
a sapling.
No. All right, up next, another women's division question. Where's this going? Mercedes Moné. Who attacked her in the dark room? Do we have any guesses still? And her feud with Willow, leading up to, they have a match of Double or Nothing for the TBS title that Willow currently possesses. So where's this all going, Kay?
Which question do you want me to answer first?
Who do you think attacked Mercedes in the dark room? Chris Statlander? That's what I think too, yeah. I think Chris Statlander's definitely turning heel.
Yeah, me too. I think she's the only option that makes sense. Plus, then she can cost Willow the match, and Willow can keep the belt. I think
Is the entire women's division heel at this point? Deonna Purrazzo, Serena Deeb was acting like a heel. Anna Jay is a heel.
Sky Blue's a heel. Julia Hart's a heel.
Yeah.
Abaddon's a face, but we haven't seen her since January.
She's not on TV right now.
Of the women that are now on TV, we have Mina
Shirakawa. She's a face.
She's a face. We have Yuka Sakazaki.
Yeah, who's injured.
Is she like permanently? Like, I mean, like injured for a while?
I don't know. I think so.
Okay. Well, we have her maybe. Trisha Dora is a face, I think.
Yeah.
Although it's unclear.
It's hard to name the faces, yeah. So
Willow.
Willow. She's a face.
You know that one.
Toni Storm and Mariah May, kind of faces, and they get cheered.
I don't think they're supposed to be faces. They just get cheered because they're so awesome.
I mean, they're definitely playing the heel roles, but they are in effect they are faces. Mm-hmm. They are fan favorites.
Yeah.
So a lot of the women's, there you go, Thunder Rosa's a face. There you go. But a lot of women are heels. You can name more than faces. I feel
Riho is a face.
She's not around. We're not counting her.
She was around like 2 weeks ago.
No, she wasn't. That was 2 weeks.
I have no concept of time.
No, you don't. So we both think Chris Statlander attacked Mercedes Moné in the dark room. So Mercedes Moné, this feud with Willow. Where's this going? So Mercedes, maybe thinks that Willow Nightingale intentionally injured her in their match in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And then she takes out her frustrations by taking out Willow after Statlander grabbed Moné's arm.
Mm-hmm.
And then Moné punches Willow or whatever she did. She slapped her. Oh, that's right. She slapped her.
In the face.
So where's this going with those two? Is Mercedes Moné a heel? She's a heel too? She's playing the heel.
I think she was a face because for a while it looked like they were maybe turning Willow heel, which would be a really stupid idea.
Yeah.
And so I think since they've now realized that's a really stupid idea, they're pushing Moné down a heel path.
A lot of heels in the women's division. A lot of heels.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be the faces.
Well, not to count on returns, but if Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker come back, they'll be faces.
Yeah. So, the learning tree. Chris Jericho
and his saplings
has maybe his first student.
Sapling.
We're
calling them saplings.
In Big Bill. Maybe. We'll see. So where's this going, Kay? What's all this going to lead to?
I hope it doesn't lead to people calling him the learning tree instead of Jericho.
Yeah.
I mean, he's building another heel faction, which is nice because not a fan of face Jericho. I'm a Jericho fan regardless of what he's doing, but he's so much better as a heel. He's just so evil and smart and conniving, and it's just perfect for him. So I know some people are tired of him
And he
like
acts like a
and-
jerk.
Yeah, and it just seems so authentic.
Mhm.
You know, like I don't think he's a jerk in real life, but it comes across that way. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I feel like is missing from all of this is some sort of explanation as to what happens with Ricky Starks now. Like, because he was with Big Bill, and so if Big Bill leaves him to go join Jericho, are we going to have a Ricky Starks Jericho feud going because he stole Big Bill away from him, or is Ricky Starks just like gone?
That's a good question.
I haven't heard that he's injured.
Yeah, that's a good
He's
question.
just not on TV.
It's not on TV.
Which is crazy because he was very popular.
Well, Tony Khan just kind of makes these rotations, of people. The TV roster right now will be totally different by the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how he does things.
Yeah. I guess it must be kind of nice because they get vacations and then they can also do some independent work.
Must be nice, yeah. Must be nice working for AEW.
We would love to find out, Tony, if you're watching.
Yeah, I'll take the job, Tony. I will move to Florida. Just give me a call. Or you can get at me on the comments here. I know you're watching.
Yeah.
On the comments here on the show. But so is this going to work with Jericho and Big Bill? You think it's going to work?
Jericho can make anything work.
Yeah. Yes, he can.
And I think that they've had to switch plans with him so often because of like injury or suspension or just people come around him coming and going. That I feel like they have to have put a lot of thought into whatever this is and wherever this is going.
Mm-hmm.
They thought enough ahead to copyright the Learning Tree,
right?
Because they were worried people were going to steal that terrible name. Yeah, I mean, I have faith in Jericho. I just really need him to bring back the Judas song.
I think that's gone.
No.
Yeah, Jericho knows when things have run their course.
It hasn't run its course.
It run its course. It was fun while it lasted.
I guess now that he's a heel, he can't use that song.
Yeah, no. He was a heel before. And
well, I know, but I mean, like, when he stopped using it, people actively started cheering against him.
Yeah. Which
they weren't doing as much when he was using the song. So I think if they want that to continue, people shouldn't be, like, singing along happily to his music.
Yeah, I hope it works. I think it will. I can't wait to see who the other members are. And what kind of tasks Jericho puts these people through. I'm very intrigued by this idea. I know a lot of people think it's stupid. Like Kay said, Jericho can make anything work. He has reinvented himself more than any wrestler I've ever seen, and it almost always works out for him because he's that good on the mic and in the ring, of course. So let's see where it goes. Yeah.
No matter where it goes, it's going to be fun.
I think so.
Jericho's the man who brought us the List, the Festival of Friendship.
Right.
He got MJF to do a singing dance with him, Broadway style.
In WCW, he brought us the fake Goldberg.
He engaged in a political debate on stage with Orange Cassidy, who spoke the most I've ever heard him speak before.
Yeah. He had the List of Dean Malenko was the man of 1,000 holds, and Jericho then named himself the man of 1,004 holds.
That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, Jericho can sell anything pretty much. All right, let's talk about Will Ospreay is a face in a faction full of heels, the Don Callis family. Where's this going?
It's going to the demise of the Don Callis family as we currently know it.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, just with the people that are in it. Like, I think, like we said before, I think Fletcher and Ospreay are going to leave and become full-time faces.
I think so.
And then he's going to add Trent and probably one or two other people because he needs someone to fill the space of Hobbs until he's back.
Yeah, because after, Hobbs is injured, say Ospreay and Fletcher leave, who's left then?
Oh, Takeshita.
Takeshita.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Is that
I
it?
knew there was one. Yeah,
Is that it?
that would be it.
So he would just have Takeshita.
Yeah.
Not much of a stable anymore.
And he's so good. He needs the stable should continue because
The Callis
he's
family.
so hated.
Oh yeah,
like,
definitely, definitely.
It's been working for a long time, and he's so awful, and he's so fun to hate, and so easy to hate. And I love when he's on commentary. So I want him to have more people in his stable, so he'll be on commentary more often.
Yeah,
it's delightful.
Yeah, hopefully they, as we said before, they bring in Trent Beretta, and they'll have Beretta and Takeshita, and add a couple more folks for sure. And the Callis family will survive, and Ospreay will become a face because I mean he's already a face. He'll just break away from that group at least. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. They can't let the Callis family die. Yeah, it's been too successful in them being able to run angles with the heel members of that faction.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll keep it going. I feel like, but with very new membership, a new look.
Who would you add to it besides Trent?
It feels like everybody else is already in a faction.
Yeah.
I don't know. You put me on the spot. I don't
am.
know.
Because I think the perfect person is Jay White, but you can't pull him out of Bullet Club or
Right.
Bang Bang,
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't know. You put me on the spot. I don't know. I hadn't thought that far through.
Okay.
Maybe I'll think about it and I can give you an answer before the night ends.
Okay.
All right. So on Dynamite on May 1st, tomorrow, one member of the House of Black is getting a TNT title shot versus Adam Copeland due to the Cope Open challenge or whatever it's called. Whom?
I think it's going to be Brody King.
Brody King gets the title shot?
Yeah, because I think they're going to eventually do Malachi and Copeland at, not Dynasty, what's it called?
Double
or
or
Nothing.
Yeah.
I cannot get Dynasty out of my head. Like, it's hard for me to make the change to Double or Nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
But so you think Brody King also, or Buddy Matthews? Or Malachi?
Not Malachi.
Not Malachi.
Not Malachi.
Didn't he already have a match against Buddy Matthews? That's part of why I thought Brody King.
Not that I recall.
Maybe I'm just thinking of like a tag or trios match.
Yeah, maybe. I'll say Buddy Matthews. So you say King and I'll say Matthews. I'll see who's right. And there's Wolf. Yo, what's
Hey.
up, man?
Huh?
All right, we've got 2 matches booked for Double or Nothing. The biggest, well, not the big, the best match of the 2, and what I think will end up being just the best match of the night. We have international champion Roderick Strong defending his belt against Will Ospreay. Who's winning?
I think Strong is going to win.
You think Strong is going to beat Ospreay?
Yeah, because I think this is when Callis is going to turn on Ospreay, letting Ospreay become a face, and he's going to help Ospreay lose. It's going to be him kicking him out of the family.
Wow.
You're
bold.
Trying to build up this Undisputed Kingdom faction that you spent almost an entire year putting together and trying to make them the biggest and the baddest, immediately dropping the ball and like fizzling out partway. You finally have 3 belts in that faction. You have Adam Cole able to stand up and walk on his own. Don't take a belt away yet. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, especially if MJF's coming back anytime soon, like within the next like 4 months. that faction needs to stay strong. You think Ospreay's getting it?
Let me think. Wolf here says, I think Brian is going to screw Ospreay, to be honest. That could be an intriguing way to go with it. Brian Danielson heel turn. Well, BCC are always on that line of faces and heels from week to week. Who, dependent upon whomever they face, they're a face or a heel.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised when Swerve and Castagnoli shook hands after their match.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were both supposed to be heels. But yeah, that's it. I hadn't thought of that.
But yeah, that would be intriguing, Wolf. I think that would be cool. I could see it happening too, yeah. The Danielson. I think he's got one more good heel run in him before he goes on his lighter schedule that he's going to be doing.
But then I don't know if, like, the two matches that we know of for Double or Nothing, one of them, I think, someone's going to cost Monet the belt.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they would do that again for the other match with someone costing Ospreay the belt. I don't know. Seems kind of samey.
Strong just won the belt in March at Revolution. Are they going to just have him be a 2-month international champion? I'm kind of with Kay. I don't see the belt changing hands. So I think Ospreay may win the match by disqualification. So I'm going to say Ospreay gets the win, but not the belt, is what I'm going to say.
And we're also saying Mercedes is going to get the win, but not the belt.
Yeah, you'd be doing almost the same thing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would.
I think definitely Mercedes is getting a win and not the belt. She'll get like a DQ win. So with Ospreay, he may just flat out lose to Roderick Strong.
That'd be his first loss.
Yes, it would.
They better.
Unless he loses between now and then.
Yeah.
He's got to lose sometime.
If that's going to be his first loss, they better be pushing Roderick Strong to the moon.
Yeah. Well, he deserves it. He's a great wrestler.
He is great, yeah. But he's not Will Ospreay great. It's like another level.
And there, Wolf also says, not going to lie, I think Mercedes loses. Yeah, that's what we were saying, is that she wins the match, but maybe with outside interference by Chris Statlander.
No, I think he means that he thinks she's going to just lose.
I understand what he means.
Oh, okay.
I'm just telling him what we have discussed.
Oh, yeah, I numbers.
Yeah. Where I think she'll win the match, but just not the belt. She'll win by disqualification, I think. Wolf also says, apparently MJF just recently got surgery for his shoulder, allegedly. Yeah, I heard about that.
So it's like usually 4 months after that for shoulder surgery?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Wolf also says, I think Statlander is going to turn heel and screw Mercedes and then probably jump Willow afterwards. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, I feel like.
Good, and then we'll get Hill Stokely again. I like Hill Stokely.
But yeah, as far as who's going to win, I'll say, man, it's between Strong and Ospreay, to go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them keeping the belt on Strong for only 2 months.
Yeah.
So I think Strong wins. I think Strong may get the win here. Yeah.
You never know that they kept the belt on the TNT belt on. Who was it? Wardlow and Hobbs for like 3 days each.
Yeah. True.
You know.
True.
Make some weird choices sometimes.
True. And they may be just trying to get. I'm changing my mind. Okay. Will Ospreay wins the belt. I'm changing my mind. I'm sticking with that. Yeah. I think they want to reward him pretty quickly here. The same thing they did with Okada. They gave him the Continental title pretty much right away because he's been awesome. I think they want to give Ospreay a belt to get it started. with him winning belts in the company.
And then they can face each other and unify the belts, and it can be the International Continent.
Who, Ospreay and Okada?
Yeah. International Continent belts.
That'll be sweet. They have a showdown coming at some point, I believe. That'll be pretty sweet to see. All right, the last Where's This Going? Kenny Omega returns to Dynamite tomorrow night.
Yes.
So what's going to happen?
I mean,
He can't wrestle.
I think it's just like hey guys, I'm alive. I'm an EVP too. Let's fight against the Young Bucks without actually fighting because I can't fight because I'm injured.
That's it. That's what it's going to be.
What else could it be?
Yeah.
Like, do you have any ideas?
Well, Wolfhair says General Manager Omega.
Oh.
I'm not sure how much traveling he could do right now. I don't think he can travel really like that. I don't know though. I don't know.
Can you wear a seatbelt like on the plane?
I'm sure he can.
Well, his intestines is perforated. You normally don't want to push on something that's like got holes in it, you know? I mean,
I do know.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. I don't know. Good question. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if he can do all that traveling.
Yeah.
That would be a neat role for him while he can't wrestle,
That's a
but I
great
don't know
idea.
if it's possible though.
What are you drinking?
Water.
Water.
So yeah, Kenny Omega returns. I don't know what he'll do. Just he'll definitely get a pop from his hometown crowd. It'll just be great to see him. Really. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and it sucks to see him sidelined for so long. So just seeing him will do a lot of good for the AEW faithful, I think. He doesn't have to be the general manager necessarily, or do much of anything. I think just seeing him will be cool, because I don't think he could take any bumps or anything like that. So we'll see. We'll see what they do with him. All right, and right now we have Kay Fabulous's always popular wrestling fashion do's and don'ts to keep you in line with what's fashionable in AEW. Do.
If you're a best friend gone bad, do use black tape to cover your former friend's name on your t-shirt, like Trent Beretta.
Yeah, he covered up Orange Cassidy's name when he appeared on Rampage.
He did a good job too. It wasn't torn; it was cut with scissors, which I appreciated. Both as a costumer and a tape user.
Don't.
If you're going to wear an amazing long black fringed shawl, don't only do little patches of your sugar skull makeup to go with it, like Thunder Rosa.
Do.
If your boss has a shiny new belt, do wear silver metallic cargo pants to complement it, like Prince Nana.
Do.
If you are now the head honcho, do wear a black fur general's coat, like Swerve Strickland.
Don't.
If you decide to strut to the ring in a three-piece suit to accept an open challenge, don't wear boring, nondescript sneakers with it like Claudio Castagnoli. The whole point of sneakers with a suit is to show off your awesome shoes.
Do.
If you are keeping kayfabe alive and giving a nod to Andy Kaufman at the same time, do wear a neck brace to the NFL draft like Tony Khan.
Don't.
Nope.
Do.
If you are debating a new name and a new look, do wear a black devilish goat mask, but
Don't.
have have it be so cheaply constructed that it looks like you found it in the clearance section at a Spirit Halloween, like the Beast Mortos.
Don't.
If you are the professor, don't show up to challenge Toni Storm for her title wearing only the right half of a jacket, like Serena Deeb. I've never seen anything like it, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
And that is this week's fashion do's and don'ts.
Okay, we thank you. Thank you for your fashion do's and don'ts. Always helps us know what we can wear in and around the squared circle. I'll be right back.
Where are you going? He has to get the news, and I had to let the dog out. Sorry. Do you want me to open it while you do your beeping?
Okay.
So, like Asa said, we're doing some things a little out of order today. So instead of ending with the news,
You're getting the news now, yeah. And how do you know you're getting the news now? Because AEW News Roundup. I screwed myself up. All right. Tony Khan responded to Goldberg, said that Goldberg wanted to work in AEW. The AEW president appeared on the Superstar Crossover podcast. Last week, Goldberg made headlines for saying he's not interested in signing with AEW, said the company's product is, quote, too cheesy. And so Tony Khan was asked about Goldberg's comment, and Khan talked about Sting and Goldberg's friendship and Sting's send-off in AEW. He said, I know Sting and Bill are good friends, and I really like Bill and have respect for him. But when I saw that, I mean, Bill's talked to me about working here, so I don't think he had any problem with any of that content. Anybody who saw Sting's send-off has had positive things to say, so I'm not sure what that was about, but I do respect Bill and like him very much.
not to bring WWE into this, but that's so like the opposite of how Triple H would have handled that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Just being like, he's really great. I don't know why he said that, but we still think he's great. You know, like that would never happen.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of WWE, Tony Khan had some anti-WWE comments that got a lot of coverage. And during an interview with TMZ Sports, Tony Khan took shots at his competition while appearing on the NFL Network. He called WWE, quote, a really evil juggernaut. He compared the company to accused sexual predator Harvey Weinstein. And he said that while AEW is like the Pepsi of pro wrestling, WWE is like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling.
I'm sorry, what? The Pepsi of pro wrestling?
Yeah, they were saying where it's not as popular as Coke, it's still a fine product.
Pepsi's gross.
Well, that was his comparison. Analogy. That was his comparison. A lot of people like Pepsi, okay?
I don't like Pepsi.
A lot of people do.
These people are wrong. What did you think about that comment? I know we don't normally discuss the news, but I'm curious because we haven't talked about it.
I thought it was kind of funny.
I did too. And a little apt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tony Khan, he said in response to all this, he said, well, I think that we got tons of coverage for AEW, and I think that it is important to say I think AEW is the best wrestling company in the world in many ways. I think that we have the best wrestlers. They do. The best matches. They do. And we've been putting on the best shows, and they have. I think the best pay-per-view events this year have been the two AEW events, Revolution and Dynasty, and I definitely agree with him. Yeah.
Although I will give WWE the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So nothing, not to take anything away from Cody.
Darby Allin is recovering after being hit by a fucking bus.
It's not funny, I'm sorry.
His string of bad luck continues.
Oh my God.
He
Like, people were like, oh good, he broke his foot, he won't die on Mount Everest. And then he gets hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He shared on Instagram that he's recovering. He got hit by a bus in New York City while crossing the street with his broken foot. He was well enough, however, to attend a Broadway play with artist Raymond Pettibon.
Like, visual artist?
I don't know. I don't know.
He also has a new face tattoo.
Correct.
It's like a hand on his face.
He's been out of action since AEW Big Business in March, where he suffered a broken foot when he hit a senton on White from the top rope to the floor. Jay White, that is. Allen worked the rest of the match with the injury. After the bout, he was attacked by the Guns, where they pulmonized his ankle to ride him out, as he was set to take time off to climb Mount Everest. As a result of the injury, Allen had to delay his climb to next year. Dax Harwood suffered a concussion at AEW Dynasty and said he's, quote, feeling much better. It's a legitimate concussion, and yeah, he, as I said, he received it against the Young Bucks, and I believe Dave Meltzer broke that story.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
So right now, Sammy is suspended.
Yeah.
Because he landed on Jeff Hardy's head, and the match continued, and they didn't follow concussion protocol. But medics didn't check on Dax during this match.
Yeah.
To check him for a concussion, and the match continued.
Maybe he didn't realize he got the concussion during the match.
But isn't that why the medics are there? Or to see if you have... Like, that's the whole point of concussion protocol, is to check to see if you have a concussion if you get hit in the head.
Yeah, but maybe he didn't even think about it. Like...
But it's not his job to think about it. Isn't it the medic's job to be watching the match?
So every time someone gets hit in the head, they stop the fucking match?
I mean, no. But I'm saying, like, if they get hit in the head and are bleeding profusely, I don't know. It just seems like if you suffer a concussion, the people who are there to notice if you've suffered a concussion should be checking to see if you've suffered a concussion. Like, there was lots of times where he wasn't in the ring. I guess they could have checked on him then. You know? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is to all that. I don't know. Former NWA Women's Champion Camille reportedly signs a contract with AEW. Her NWA deal ran out December 31st. And apparently she's been signed since February. Her last match, as far as we know, was in November for a North Carolina indie promotion. The story didn't say what promotion. But that's where we are, North Carolina. No other information was provided in terms of starting on TV, the length of the deal, or other promotions she spoke with. She held the NWA Women's title for more than 800 days from 2021 through 2023.
That's the longest women's reign I've heard of.
Yeah, she's a big deal apparently. I don't watch NWA, but she's a big deal apparently. Powerhouse Hobbs injury considered, quote, significant. Also, in more injury news, Julia Hart may need surgery. So people, it's good they have such a big roster because they've got a lot of talented people out due to injury right now. You could start a great company with the people that they have out for injuries. It's a shame. Hobbs was favoring his right knee during the main event on Dynamite, where he challenged Jon Moxley for the IWGP belt. Brian Alvarez later confirmed Hobbs' injury was legit. Also, according to Fightful, The early indications are that Julia Hart will require surgery, but the nature of her injury has not been revealed. She hurt her shoulder in a match with Layla Hirsch on the April 10th Rampage, aired April 12th, taped on the 10th, but she continued working afterwards. It's not clear if that's the injury she may need surgery for, though. AEW hires new senior marketing director of live events. They hired Jeremy Flynn, formerly of the Professional Bull Riders circuit, for the role. So there you go.
No comment.
Yeah. AEW Dynamite drew the lowest viewership since January 2021. The ratings continue to fall.
Playoffs.
Well, yeah, there are a number of reasons. The Dynasty Fallout edition of Dynamite averaged 683,000 viewers on TBS, percent from last week. And it's the lowest audience the show has had since January 6, 2021, which was an episode that took place on the same day as the Capitol riot. So I think a lot of people were watching the news coverage for that and not watching AEW. Dynamite drew a .23 rating in the 18 through 49 demo. That's down 11.5% from last week. Matches the lowest rating the show has done in that category on a Wednesday night since June 24th, 2020. It should be noted that the episode aired live on the West Coast. So it aired at 5 p.m. on the West Coast. So that takes out a lot of viewers who are probably still at work or coming home from work. It aired from 5 to 7 p.m. on the West Coast. And it experienced audio issues on TBS's end. So yeah, if you watch the show, you couldn't hear the announcers. The ring was turned up too high. Just things were muffled. You couldn't hear what was going on. Some of the promos you couldn't hear properly.
The show opened with the Bucks and Jack Perry and Okada coming from the outside into the arena, talking to the camera, and you couldn't hear anything they were saying.
Right. Yeah. And the show also went head to head with the NBA playoffs. So several reasons why it's down. But yeah, not good. Dynamite rating continues to fall.
And for all the Canadian wrestling fans, it's also the NHL playoffs.
Right. Jim Ross is hoping for more AEW commentary assignments.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Ross recently signed a new 1-year contract with AEW, and the plan is for him to call some parts of AEW pay-per-views. He called the opening match and the main event at Dynasty. Ross said he mentioned that he's brought up the idea of him potentially calling the go-home episode of Collision before a pay-per-view. And so the matches he called at Dynasty were Swerve Strickland versus Samoa Joe and Kazuchika Okada versus Pac. So two good matches to call there. So hopefully he does get more work. Chris Jericho horror film Dark Match to premiere later this year. Jericho serves as an executive producer on the project, and Variety reports that UK-based Bluefinch Films has purchased worldwide distribution rights, excluding Canada, for the film, and they'll be taking it around to film festivals and things like that. The plot: a small-time wrestling company accepts a well-paying gig in a backwoods town, only to learn too late that the community is run by a mysterious cult leader with devious plans for their match. Sounds great.
It's a horror movie with cults and wrestling. It's like 3 of my favorite things all together.
Also, the film is set in the 1980s.
Oh, 4 of my favorite things.
It was written and directed by Lowell Dean, who wrote and directed Wolf Cop.
I haven't seen it.
You have. We watched it together.
I've seen it.
We watched it together. That's a funny movie, Wolf Cop. Swerve Strickland responds, to Grayson Waller, saying AEW is the best wrestling anywhere.
Wait, what did Grayson Waller say?
Waller took a shot at AEW earlier this month when promoting a WWE show May 17th in Jacksonville. During an appearance on Going Ringside with News 4 Jax, Waller said, "Finally, some good wrestling in Jacksonville. I feel like it's been years since we've seen some really good wrestling in Jacksonville." So the fucking joke is on him because WWE was in Jacksonville like a year and a half ago. So he's dunking on his own fucking promotion as well as AEW. So what a fucking dork. Swerve Strickland appeared on the same show to promote Dynamite's return to Jacksonville. And Swerve said, obviously, it was a subtle dig at AEW, and I love the subtleties. And this person that said that, congratulations on their championship gold. Amazing. You were awesome when you were watching me in the seats when I was being a champion over where you were as well. So happy to see where you've progressed to, but let's be real. We are the best wrestling, not just in Jacksonville, but anywhere on the globe, in the world, and I stand on business on that.
Can I ask a question because I don't get something?
What?
Does Grayson Waller have a belt, or was he being sarcastic?
No, he's one of the tag team champions.
Oh.
He and, I forget who.
Probably Austin Theory.
I don't know if it's Austin Theory.
I think some dude.
I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Who cares?
No.
So that is your news for this week, and it is time for the top five. The top five. The AEW top five. It's proprietary. It's wonderful. We make it our very own selves.
By hand.
By hand. We do it every week. We rank the top 5 men, the top 5 women, and the top 5 teams in AEW. We'll never reveal the secret ranking process, no matter what you do to us. And here it goes. What should we start with, Kay?
Teams.
Teams. Top 5 teams. Number 5. Jumping onto the ratings, Top Flight and Action and Ready. Because even though they lost to Bullet Club Gold, they put up a great match.
They've been on fire recently.
Top Flight and Action and Ready have been wonderful lately.
Good.
Wonderful. Number 4, a new team jumping onto the scene, showing what they've got. Katsuyori Shibata and Daniel Garcia won a match on Collision. So they've jumped onto the tag team, onto the team's rankings. They won a match on Rampage, thank you, over Shane Taylor Promotions. Number 3 team, falling 2 spots from number 1, the World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. As they haven't wrestled, they didn't wrestle this week, so they fell a couple spots. Number 2 tag team, back in the rankings, the Acclaimed, as they got a win on, what was it, on Dynamite, perhaps? Well, they beat someone, take my word for it. They had a match this week, and they won it. But so with a win, the Acclaimed back in the top 5. Who did the Acclaimed beat this week?
Grizzled Young Vets.
Grizzled Young Vets. Thank you. Good memory. And the number 1 team, up 2 spots from number 3, Bullet Club Gold, the Unified Trios Champions, who successfully defended their belts against Top Flight and Action and Ready.
And who are possibly now going by Bang Bang Gang.
Yes, possibly going by Bang Bang Gang from now on. So we'll see. So what should we do next? Men or women?
Then did you do the rundown?
Oh, yes, the rundown. Sorry. So number 1, Bullet Club Gold. Number 2, The Acclaimed. Number 3, The Young Bucks. Number 4, Katsuyori Shibata and Daniel Garcia. Number 5, Top Flight and Action Andretti.
To the women.
The women. Number 5, same spot as last week. Deonna Purrazzo. So she lost to Thunder Rosa this week, stays in the same spot. Number 4, down 2 spots from last week because she didn't have a match this week. The TBS champion, Willow Nightingale. Number 3, jumping onto the rankings for the first time, Mina Shirakawa. And she got a win over Anna Jay. Was it? Yeah. Number 2, up 1 spot from number 3, Thunder Rosa, who got the win over Purrazzo this week. So good for Thunder Rosa. So she's coming up on maybe getting another world title shot. And number 1, she's been number 1 for months, the women's world champion, Toni Storm.
Well, she's been number 1 for months because she's timeless.
Right. So that's number 1, Toni Storm. Number 2, Thunder Rosa. Number 3, Mina Shirakawa. Number 4, Willow Nightingale. Number 5, Deonna Purrazzo. And there's a good ranking of women right there. There's a good top 5. And then, of course, we got several more who can really go. You know, Mariah May, Serena Deeb just come to mind at first. Trish Adora. And more on the way. Mercedes Moné hasn't even had her first match yet. And Jamie Hayter's coming back. And Britt Baker, I assume, is coming back at some point. So quite a roster of women. They've started to build on AEW, and hopefully it just keeps going. There's our dog, Ripley, if you're watching the video version of this.
She likes to put her face, like, pretty much on your face.
Yeah, that's why Kay keeps having to get up tonight, because the dog is being a little rambunctious. So for the women, did I do the rundown?
Nope.
Number 1, Toni Storm. Number 2, Thunder Rosa. Number 3, Mina Shirakawa. Number 4, Willow Nightingale. Number 5, Deonna Purrazzo. And so now we head to the men. Number 5 got a big, violent win in the parking lot brawl on Rampage this week, and just has taken off as a singles star, Trent Beretta. I believe that's his first time in their singles in the men's rankings for him.
I think so too.
Number 4, a man who just returned and had the AEW match of the week with what's that guy's name? The Beast Mortos. Ray Phoenix coming in at number 4.
Is it Phoenix or Phoenix?
It's Ray Phoenix. Phoenix.
Phoenix.
That's how it's pronounced. Phoenix. Number 3, the IWGP World Champion and BCC member, Jon Moxley. Back in the top 5. You see him in the top 5 all the time. Number 2, up 1 spot from number 3. He won the Casino Gauntlet match this week to get a shot at the international title, Will Ospreay. And has been on fire since his AEW debut, just having tremendous matches. This may be the first week he hasn't been the match of the week since he came on. Maybe.
Who did you give it to? Ray Phoenix?
Phoenix and the Beast Mortos,
okay.
yeah. That was a great match. Great match. And number 1, our new world champion, Swerve Strickland. So that's number 1, Swerve Strickland. Number 2, Will Ospreay. Number 3, Jon Moxley. Number 4, Ray Phoenix. Number 5, Trent Beretta. And those are your rankings for April 30th in AEW. So pretty good top 5 for the men there as well. And so now we're doing a new it's a new segment. It's a one-time segment, and it's It's called the Transformation of Jack Perry.
Or Jungle No More.
Is that right?
I like that. Yeah.
Jungle No More.
Jungle No More.
The Jack Perry story
Jack
on
Perry
Lifetime.
story. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Jack Perry has been since All In last year to now. He's been an intriguing fellow to follow. He's gone from, and we're going to talk about earlier in his career a little bit too. So he's gone from Jungle Boy, kind of a laughing, silly gimmick, and a lot of people didn't take him seriously. He's gone from that to being named one of the pillars of AEW, to getting suspended from the company, to wrestling in Japan, to returning with a full beard and being in the most powerful faction in the company. So quite a lot has happened for him in less than a year even. I mean, it's been 8 months that all this has happened with as far as the suspension and wrestling in Japan and all that. So I'm going to just go over a bit and we'll talk about things. And this is just kind of our way of taking a look at how Jack Perry has evolved over the years. Because like I said, he's been such a figure, such a big figure on the stage. I mean, if what happened between he and CM Punk, if that hadn't happened, who knows? CM Punk might still be in AEW. He probably would have just fucked it up somehow otherwise, but you never know. And then he wouldn't have been suspended. He wouldn't have come back and have all these fans now as a scapegoat. So it's just really interesting to us. And we're gonna talk about him a bit here. He debuted as a wrestler November 20th, 2015 for Underground Empire Wrestling. And he was in the West Coast Cruiser Cup under the name Nate Coy. And the crowd began chanting Jungle Boy, since with his hair, he kind of looked like Tarzan, and the name stuck. And he ran with it.
Which is a good thing because Nate Coy is terrible.
Nate Coy is terrible. Why already come up with that?
Yeah.
Why not just be Jack Perry? I guess he didn't want to ride on his father's coattails, maybe.
Maybe, but like he doesn't have to tell people who his father is.
Right.
He does
He
kind of
could
look
still
like
be
him
Jack
now.
Perry. Yeah, he looks like him. So in February of 2019, Jungle Boy formed a tag team with Luchasaurus, dubbed Boy and His Dynasty. And his dinosaur. Dynasty is still in both of our minds. And of course, in that faction, Jurassic Express, Marco Stunt was with them as well, which was a big reason that they weren't taken seriously as well. He was a very tiny man.
That was once they got to AEW, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they debuted in AEW, yeah.
Yeah, because they were a boy and his dinosaur before they got to AEW. They wrestled together.
Well, that's not what you have written down, but nonetheless, no, stop. I'm reading. In May of 2019, he wrestled against former WCW World Heavyweight Champion David Arquette in a tribute match for his father. Signed with AEW in January 2019, debuting at its inaugural show. He is an AEW original. At Double or Nothing on May 25th. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the inaugural show, Double or Nothing, May 25th, 2019. After wrestling solo for a few months, at Fight for the Fallen on July 13th, when he teamed with Luchasaurus, and then soon after that, they joined with Marco Stunt, and then that's when they became Jungle Express in July. Okay, that is what you had.
Express.
Jurassic Express, excuse me. You wrote down Jungle Express. That's what I read. It's Jurassic Express.
Sorry.
Jungle Boy got his first AEW win when Jurassic Express defeated Strong Hearts.
Yeah, I'd never heard of them.
On January 15th, 2020. I've never heard of that team.
And I named both the wrestlers that were in that tag team, and I had never heard of either of them, so I didn't write their names down.
Never heard of them. On January 5th, is that 2022?
Yeah.
Okay. On Dynamite, Jurassic Express won the AEW World Tag Team Championship. So that's been Jack Perry's one and only belt in the company. But quite an accomplishment.
He was FTW champion.
So his only AEW belt, right? He was an FTW champion, which is not officially recognized by AEW, but he was FTW champion. After several successful defenses, they lost the belts on June 15th to the Young Bucks after 161 days of being the champions. After the loss, Jungle Boy was attacked by his mentor, Christian Cage. And so here, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Jurassic Express. What was your first impression of them?
I loved them.
Yeah.
My first impression of Jack Perry was like, oh my God, that guy's so tiny. And then I saw Marco Stunt and I was like, oh my God, that guy's even tinier. But with Jack Perry, he's very good in the ring. But when I first saw him, I was like, he's too small. Like he was bigger than Darby Allin, but he was still like very slight in frame, like thin. Darby Allin. And his gear that he wore just kind of accentuated that. I liked that he had a dinosaur monster with him, who was a luchador. It's one of my favorite things in wrestling. I hate that they changed his name to Kill Switch, but we'll move on. So I was way more excited about Luchasaurus than I was about Jungle Boy, honestly. But Jungle Boy grew on me over time because I think his wrestling improved. His mic work definitely improved because he was terrible at first. Like, holy fuck, terrible.
Yes.
And then I didn't really start caring about him as an individual until I forget what they called it. It was basically a buried alive match, but I forget what they called it, against Christian. That was the first time where I saw him as a solo wrestler where I was like, he can bring it.
Yeah.
And I hate Christian, so that just helped things,
I would share my impression of Jurassic Express, but I feel pretty much I would echo what you just said, so I feel very much the same way. He had a feud with Christian Cage, who was eventually joined by Luchasaurus and renamed Kill Switch.
But much later, after Jack was gone.
Right. Luchasaurus turned on Jungle Boy at All Out. So, one thing that helped his solo career get off to a good start was he defeated Luchasaurus in a steel cage match at Full Gear, wrestling under just his name, Jack Perry. No more Jungle Boy. He's Jack Perry now. A couple matches of note at Revolution. He had a final burial match, as Kay just mentioned, against Christian Cage, and he won.
That's awesome.
It was a very good match.
Yeah.
At Double or Nothing, had a fatal four-way match with the Four Pillars for the AEW World Heavyweight title, but MJF kept his belt at that one. Perry turned heel after his match at Forbidden Door against Sonata for the IWGP World title, which he did not win. July 19th, Perry defeated Hook for the FTW Championship. His reign lasted 39 days. He dropped it back to Hook on the 0 hour at All In. Then shit hit the fan. This is what Kay wrote.
It's accurate.
So yeah, he was building up a solo career, definitely. A successful one he had started, and people were giving him more respect now that he wasn't Jungle Boy and run around on Luchasaurus' shoulders and everything. Yes.
His heel turn was terrible.
Yes.
It sucked.
Yes.
And it made all of his momentum just,
yeah.
Like, it was terrible. He came out to classical music. The only thing heelish about him was he was wearing sunglasses and a black leather jacket. It was just painful.
It was not done well.
And like
not executed well.
His mic skills hadn't gotten there yet all the way, so he couldn't carry the character verbally since he couldn't carry it visually. It was just a hot mess. So I think the CM Punk thing is the best thing that ever happened to him and his career, honestly.
In a way.
Yeah.
In a way. So at All In, CM Punk, of course, I'm going to talk about this very quickly because we all know the story. CM Punk was, during Jack Perry's match, he dropped somebody on a car windshield or something, huh? Hook, yeah. Dropped on a car windshield and said real glass to the camera. Said real glass, and then cry me a river. And these are now two quotations that are in wrestling history. And after he got back to the backstage, CM Punk was getting ready for his match against Samoa Joe, which was an awesome match. Very good match. And CM Punk had some words with him because he saw what he said on the monitor. And then they were talking, and then, of course, just out of nowhere, CM Punk pushed Perry, who was shocked, and then CM Punk grabbed him in a front, sleeper hold, trying to knock him out. Could have killed the guy, to be honest. Could have killed the guy. Could have hurt him very bad. When you're knocking people out for real with shit, you don't know what's going to happen to them.
I've been knocked out with a sleeper hold. That was fine.
So yes, most of the time you are, but it can be very dangerous. So CM Punk came off looking like a psychopath. Needs some mental help. Gets fired from the company, of course. And there's more to that. There was something, some other thing we have not seen on video where Tony Khan said he feared for his life. So I don't know they haven't gone into much specifics about what happened to make Tony Khan afraid for his life. But shit, after watching that, I believe it. You got some, muscular, psychotic guy who's mad at you and, putting people in sleeper holes and shit who are his, co-workers. You don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah. So that was the turning point. And Punk got fired. Perry got suspended for some reason. I guess just because of the comments. Because he didn't do anything in the fight. He didn't really try to fight back at all. And Perry got suspended just for his comments, seemingly. Which was, I don't agree with personally. But that's what happened. And then Perry went over to New Japan. And he made his New Japan debut January 13th, 2024. He attacked Shota Umino, tore up his AEW contract, and donned an armband reading Scapegoat. And that's where that character began.
He also started wearing a black leather jacket that had Cry Me a River spray painted in silver on the back of it.
Right. And so Perry showed up and was awesome in New Japan. And, showed up with a beard. And everybody's like, wow, what's he been doing since he's been off? And just shows up, and now he's a scapegoat because, CM Punk wants to blame everything on him. And a lot of people blame him for CM Punk getting fired and all this shit. And all the guy did was say a couple things. In wrestling, if you can't take somebody ribbing you a little about something, you don't need to be in the business, because that's a lot of what happens.
Well, especially because if you didn't know the backstory, like I didn't know that when it happened. I was like, why did he say that when he said it to the camera? I didn't know that they had like a whole conversation about using real glass versus fake glass. Like I didn't know it was directed at CM Punk. I don't think anyone would have known if CM Punk just didn't react.
Basically, CM Punk saw it as a challenge and affront to him, because this new young wrestler didn't act like Punk was, Jesus Christ, and live by every word that he said and do things exactly as he wanted. So,
In his defense, he is the original Monday Night Messiah.
oh my Lord. So, Perry won the first round of the 2024 New Japan Cup with the help of House of Torture when he joined, which he joined after the match. He went out in the second round, though. April 12th at the Windy City Riot in Chicago, Umino defeated Perry in a rematch. This was Perry's final New Japan match. After the match, the two shook hands and hugged. On April 21st at Dynasty, Perry reappeared after he was grabbed and unmasked by security for interfering on behalf of the Young Bucks. He came in and pushed a ladder while Dax Harwood was climbing it. And the Young Bucks could be able to grab the tag titles by scurrying up the ladder and grabbing them. And so Perry helped secure the Bucks' win. He was kicked out of the event, as though he was an interloper. And then very soon after that, joined the Elite. So now he's in Jack Perry. He's back, Crimea River. He's a scapegoat. And so he still is, ribbing CM Punk a bit. Because, fuck him. Wouldn't you? Fuck that. Fuck him. And so now he's in the, with the most powerful faction in AEW, I would say, with, the tag champs, the Young Bucks, Continental Champion Okada. Maybe only a matter of time until Jack Perry gets some gold of his own. I could see him going after Adam Copeland. I think that would be pretty cool to see. But I digress. So now he's in this faction, and so his future looks pretty bright from now on. We haven't seen a lot of how his microphone skills have improved now. I bet you they have, though.
Maybe he spent like those 2 months in acting classes.
You said maybe?
Maybe. Yeah, it could happen.
Well, we'll see.
Would be smart.
But by all accounts, I don't watch New Japan, but by all accounts, his wrestling has improved a good deal, and he was already pretty good. But his wrestling seems to improve a good deal. People have started to take him seriously now as a wrestler, and he went from really just being lost kind of in the shuffle of AEW, despite being a pillar, kind of being lost in the shuffle, and going from a comedy act to this failed heel turn. They're just trying to find what was going to stick for him, and nothing was working. And now just taking this real life event and turning it into the character that came out of that event seems to be working. He's getting cheered everywhere he goes. The AEW crowds are loving it, and he's like a cult hero. Because by all accounts, CM Punk was, kind of a piece of shit in the locker rooms. Wanted to tell all the young guys how to do things. Didn't really want to talk to certain people. Thought he had his own ways of running things, and kind of wanted to act like, he ran Collision and things like this that we've heard. Locker room cancer has been a term thrown around about him, and seems to be true, because by everything I've read, the AEW locker room, much happier, much better place to be since he's left. So Jack Perry, in a lot of ways, a hero to fans now, and a little bit probably to the wrestlers who got the guy who got CM Punk to leave. So it's an interesting place to be for him. And now he stands on the precipice of the rest of his career. We don't know. I'm sure he's going to be on the Double or Nothing card. It will be intriguing to see whom he faces.
He should face one of Punk's friends.
Like FTR or
Danhausen.
Danhausen.
I don't know if you can wrestle Danhausen as your first big match back though.
Yeah, he needs to be serious. This character needs to be serious. He can't be wrestling Danhausen.
Brody King.
Maybe Dax Harwood. Is Brody King one of Punk's friends?
He's always hanging out with Danhausen and FDR. They post pictures of them doing toy reviews at comic book shops and stuff. So I assumed that he was hanging out with CM Punk, but I guess I don't know for sure.
That would be a way to go. For sure, yeah, that'd be a way to go. And I mean, he's the one who knocked Dax Harwood off the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
So a singles, Dax Harwood does do singles matches from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Cash Wheeler, not as much, but Dax does do them. So that would be cool to see Dax Harwood versus Jack Perry and continue this angle. And shoot, maybe we'll see that at Double or Nothing.
Especially because their styles are so different, I feel like it would help validate Jack Perry as a versatile wrestler.
So we could just as easily perhaps see Jack Perry and Okada versus FTR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could see that happening too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want him to just do a singles match to put more of the attention on him.
Yeah.
Though I think that would be best, a singles match. Mm-hmm. But AEW has something now with Perry, and and they really need to be careful with how they play this character and how they decide his wins and losses and the direction of this character, because they have something here and they have momentum going with it. And Tony Khan sometimes can build things. A lot of times can build things very well, but we've seen it. Sometimes things have momentum and they run out of steam for whatever reason. The person doesn't get pushed anymore, and the push just stops. It just falls apart, and then maybe they're gone off TV for 2 months. We've seen that several times happen.
The months of planning that this took, they have to have a plan.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying is, it'll be interesting to see what's next for him, to see the plan played out. And that's where we stand. Kay, do you have any further words about Jack Perry? You want anything
I
to
hope
say?
that they keep him away from Killswitch.
Why did you say that?
Because I think that association should be over. And I'm worried that if they pit them against each other, that he's going to unmask him, and I don't want that to happen. Because I feel like that would be a good, symbolic act of, murdering Jungle Boy once and for all, But I love Luchasaurus, and I want him to keep his mask, so. Yeah, I just feel like they should leave that and, the stuff with Christian in the past and just move forward. So.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Which is what I think they'll do, I just have a slight fear that they're going to bring it all back up. Just because, they did that with Swerve and Keith Lee, where it, died for months, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they were they're having a match, So they do random things like that sometimes, where they bring up old feuds very briefly for no reason. So I'm just hoping they don't go down that road.
I hear you. So I have faith in them. They've done a lot of good with characters. Not always been the best with building new characters. Now, some they've hit it out of the park with, like Toni Storm.
Mm-hmm.
They've hit it out of the park with her. She's been one of the most entertaining parts of television. But like I said, it doesn't always work out for AEW. So we'll see how they build Jack Perry. But I'm definitely on his side. I'm rooting for him. I hate that all this happened to the guy. I'm sure he didn't want any of it. I'm sure he was fine wrestling just how he was in AEW. But now maybe this has refocused him, and maybe he's realized wrestling is more important to him after kind of losing touch with AEW and being in New Japan for a while. Maybe he just realized that he needs to kind of rededicate himself to his craft. You don't think so?
AEW put him in New Japan.
I know.
So it's not like he was like exiled from AEW. Tony Khan and Rocky Romero.
Well, in a way, he was suspended. He was suspended for months before he ever set foot in a New Japan ring.
Yeah. But don't you think that time was spent with them planning this?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. I have no idea, obviously, but not necessarily. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. I think he has to be glad that this happened.
In a way, I'm sure he is. In a way, I bet he's not.
Yeah.
But Scapegoat T-shirt is available on Shop AEW.
I want the armband
with the broken glass behind it, which that's a pretty cool shirt. So that is the transformation of Jack Perry. Hope you enjoyed this new segment, kind of talking through his pro wrestling career a little bit, and just kind of wanted to illustrate how the wrestler has changed over the years, and kind of peer through the door at what's next for him.
It's kind of cool. We kind of gotten to watch him like grow up, kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, folks, that is AEW Weekly for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, we're going to be back at a regular time, 6 p.m. Monday. Mondays at a regular time, 6 p.m. Monday. So the same place, YouTube, Twitch, X, wherever you're watching us, you can watch us again. Wednesday night, tomorrow, AEW Dynamite. I may be doing a watch along by myself, hosting that. Kay won't be here, so I may be doing a watch along of AEW Dynamite by myself. If you want to come and keep me company, it'll be on all those places I just named. And I think we may very well be doing a watch along Saturday for AEW Collision.
It'll depend on how tired I am.
When do you get home?
I get home Friday. So I'm going on a 3-day field trip out of state with like 40 teenagers. So pray for me. I come back Friday at like 6:45
a.m. or p.m. p.m.
Yeah, I'm leaving at 5 a.m.
We can do a watch along on Saturday. So I think we may very well do a watch along Saturday, but keep a lookout on X. That's where we post a lot of things that we're doing. Is on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Thanks for watching. Our videos, go back through. Feel free to go back through and check out some of our old videos. We have talks about things that happened in the past. We have watch-alongs for a lot of WCW shows and some WWF shows. Those are fun. If you got a couple hours, you want to hang out with us. The watch-alongs we try to make it very fun if you want to go back and look at them.
Dylan from last week in Wrestling Podcast joins us for several of them, and he's hilarious.
Right, yeah. It was a great time.
And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming content, including if we do a watch-along on Saturday or Wednesday. And be sure to like the video and tell your friends.
Yeah, click like, please. It makes a big difference if you like us, so please click like. And spread the word around. And thanks for watching. And as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day. Bye.